Hello, welcome. Tonight we're gonna do some crafting. I don't know about you, but crafting is a great way for me to relax and de-stress. So I've got some fun things planned for you tonight. Primarily, I'm gonna show you how to turn some leftover plastic Easter eggs into a faux succulent. I don't have the greenest thumb on the planet. So we're gonna do some different crafts so you can have some faux plants around the house, but also talk about doing it with things that hopefully you already have on hand. So I am, just a second, get it all lined up. I've been teaching some live classes lately, which obviously right now we're not gathering together to do those kind of live classes. So I'm excited tonight to do this sort of virtual crafting together. So our main project is going to be using leftover Easter eggs to make this cute little faux succulent. But I'm also going to show you kind of a couple other ideas too. So, sorry, I've got a camera here, computer over here. Trying to get everything going at the same time. It's been a while since I've done a live video, so I apologize. Okay, so the supplies that you're going to need tonight are a leftover Easter egg, ideally green. I've got a couple different shades of green. And a marker. And if you have those two things, you can do the craft. Now, if you want to kind of take it up a notch, you can also, we're going to plant our egg. And I've got a little tiny terracotta pot and some kind of black, like river rock things. And you could even use some hot glue to kind of secure that down. But, okay, we'll see. So, this is gonna be actually really, really fast. So here's the finished one again. And it sits in a little pot. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of spin this around because we just want to look at what we're doing, right? So, we've primarily got these two green plastic Easter eggs that we're working with. And I've got a black permanent marker, but you could also use a gold marker, and I'll show you that too in a second. So let's start with this black one. So I don't know if you can see, here's the finished one. But we're just gonna kind of make stripes. And I like doing this by making little X's. So I'm gonna start at the top and we're just gonna kind of make the spines like you'd see, and actually I already played with that one a little bit. We're gonna make kind of the spines you see like on a cactus or on a succulent. So I'm just making little X marks and I'm gonna do a line down from the top of that egg to the bottom. And if you have any questions while you're watching, feel free to comment. I'm trying to watch the comments and make sure I reply. So, top of the egg, down. And then I kind of start by doing like quadrants, or 4 lines. So from where that first one was, then I'm gonna turn it and just go down the other side, because I want in the end these to be evenly spaced. And you are doing a marker on a plastic egg. The marker might slip. It's okay. Not every X has to be beautiful. So there's 2 lines. Now I'm gonna curve it and go down the middle on this side over here. And that's it. So plastic Easter egg, green, As you can see, I've got a few different shades of green eggs. So whatever you have, that's really the theme for tonight, is craft with what you already have. We don't need to be going out and buying stuff. So you can have a lot of fun with things that are already in your house that you might not have thought of to craft. Hi! See a few people jumping on. I'm gonna mess up your name, I know. Is it Nicole? I'm so glad you're here tonight. I had been teaching some pretty regular classes where I live, and I haven't been able to do those lately, and so they came to me and asked if I could teach a virtual class, and I said yes. And then I said, let's do it on Facebook so everybody can join in. I just felt like we all could use a little craft time. So I am going around the egg now and just making lines from the top to the bottom, and I'm going halfway in between the lines that I already made. And as I do this around, those lines will get closer and closer together, and it just helps space them out evenly. Oh, I said your name right. I'm so glad. Sometimes I overthink things. I saw a meme the other day that said that there should be like a hotline that you can call for words that you've only ever seen written and never heard pronounced. And I thought, yes, that would be very helpful, because there are words that I have read in books that I don't know if I've ever heard pronounced, and so I'm reading them and have no idea if I'm saying them right. And right now I'm reading the Percy Jackson books to my 10-year-old out loud. And there's some words in there that I really wish I knew how to say correctly. Every once in a while I'll be stumbling over one of them, and my kid will come over and say, "Let me look," because he thinks he knows everything. And then he'll look at the word and he goes, "No, I don't know how to say that either." Okay, thanks, kid. Alright, so I am continuing to go down and make all my little X's in between the rows that I've already done. And I'm not gonna lie, because I'm trying to do this fast, I am smearing them a little bit because I'm touching spots where the marker is still kind of wet. But I'm just making little sort of hatchy X's top to bottom. And then sometimes on a row, like I did this row right here, and then I did this row, and I want to go in the middle because here, down here there's more space, but up at the top there's less space. It's okay if a row doesn't start all the way at the top, just start it where there's room. And that one doesn't go all the way to the bottom either. And right here next to it as well. I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm just going to kind of start this row right in here and mostly do this wider middle section and then let it die out before it gets to the bottom. And I'm just making these, I'm just kind of eyeballing and making them as close together or as far apart as I want them to be. And you can see this egg is a lot smaller than this one is. And my X's are kind of smaller. And I'm just using a fine tip, fine point marker. So making my X's. And I'm just going to finish this one up. And when I feel like he's done, there's my little faux egg. Okay, now if you want, because sometimes cactuses have blooms on them, I've got a bunch of little flowers, and so I just pulled off one of the flowers. And eggs have like those little holes at the top, and you can just stick in your flower into the top of the egg like that. And obviously you use some hot glue or something to make that, you know, if you want to fan it out a little bit, make it more permanent. But just like that. Okay, so then I would plant my egg. So I've just got these little tiny terracotta planters. That one's just a plain one. This one I did paint, and I've got that up on my website, and I'll link to some of these. And then he just sits in the little planter. And if you want to make it a little more permanent, just put a dot of hot glue on the bottom and stick it in there so it stays better. Okay, now just for some variety, so we did one in the black marker. I'm just going to show you a gold one because I really liked the gold as well, but I know that gold isn't as common as a marker color. You might not have a gold marker at home, and you probably do have a black marker. So black marker, or let's just, but the same thing, okay? Just making X's. And I'm not going to do this the way I just said to, just because I want to do several lines of gold next to each other real fast so you can see how the gold is going to look more than anything else. Excited to see several of you on here tonight. Especially some of the people I get to see in my classes, my live classes. So if you have some other marker colors than black, feel free to experiment with some different ones. Okay, so there's the gold, and it looks really pretty too. And the same thing, you would go all the way around. You could add the flower in, and then stick it in a little planter. Okay, I think I made it simple enough. Nobody has any questions. Let me show you some other fun things that you might want to do while you're at home with stuff you already have around the house. My house has a lot of pine trees. So these are pine cones that I cut in half and painted green, and then they're just in a frame, and I use chicken wire, but you could use any kind of mesh backing that you had, or even some kind of fabric, and I hot glued those on. And I used both kind of the tops and the bottoms of, mostly the bottoms, of pine cones. And then these are some felt, little kind of succulent things. So if you have some felt at home, basically these are, you cut the different petal shapes, hot glue them together. You'll cut a strip in the center and spiral it. And they can go in a frame like this. They can go in a little pot, like your Easter egg. If you happen to have yarn, I'll share the link for these. These are just, I've got some free crochet patterns to make little faux cactus, succulent plants too. So it's all about using what you have at home, crafting, and having fun. So I'm going to finish this gold one, just because we've had a couple other people jump on, and I want to make sure everybody sees what we're doing and doesn't have any questions. We'll work on my camera work. So here's the one that I did with the black marker. And then I'm gonna keep working on this gold one. More sealed in at the moment. I'll need to take a pencil and make room, and I would want to hot glue it anyway so I could kind of open up the flowers some when I did it. But so there's a gold one, and there's the gold marker and the black marker, and how those turned out. And then we'll go back over here to the one that is planted. So here's the one the two we just made real quick. And obviously because they're smaller, I could put them in a little pot together. And you just want to hot glue those so they can stand up nicely. And that's just the terracotta pot and a few little river rocks. So I'm flipping over to my computer and just making sure. Okay. Anybody have any questions? So it's really fun to craft with supplies you already have on hand at home. Tonight we made these little faux succulent cactus with leftover plastic Easter eggs, a cute little faux flower, and they're sitting in a little pot with some river rocks. You could paint your little potted plant if you wanted to. Here's some other cute little potted plants, some little faux ones. These are some free crochet patterns that are on my website, and I'll link to those. I also have a link to these that I'll share, and a link to these. If you happen to have felt on hand, this is an easy craft to make. Or if you have some pine cones in your yard, you can cut those up and paint them. But I'll definitely be sharing more crafts with things that you have on hand. Always feel free to leave a comment here on my page if you have any questions, or if there's a craft that you're looking for that you'd like to see me do, let me know, and that can be a live craft we do together in the future. So let me know what kind of supplies you have on hand and what you'd like to craft together. And keep leaving comments, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Everybody have a good night. Bye.